Let's go to the final 3-Tech Big Three game of the week. Number 19, Illinois on the road at number 9, Penn State. Time of recording, Penn State is an 18-point favorite. This line has me scratching my head just a little bit as well. 6:30 p.m. game on NBC. Garrett, you're on Penn State here minus the points. Penn State's offense has been really good, but explain to me how they cover against defense from Illinois that's been fine.
No problem. I think Penn State is experiencing a renaissance at the perfect time. And it's kind of fun because we've had situations the past couple of years where we really like Penn State. We think this might be the year they break through. We officially, declared time of death for their championship window over the offseason, and that might have been premature. Somebody took a defibrillator, and they, I think, have resurrected the Penn State hopes. Something I was surprised to find out looking over the numbers, Drew Aller leads the nation in yards per completion at 17.8 this year. He's not leading the Big Ten in any of the normal statistics. When you go into efficiency stats, he leads the Big Ten and the country in several of them, right? Average yards per attempt, yards per completion, passer rating. He's tops of the conference, if not the nation, in all of those stats. Fact of the matter is he doesn't really have to throw the ball that often. He doesn't attempt that many passes comparatively. This is a really dominant run game, though. They can do a lot on the ground. He's got a couple of stud running backs behind him. And I just don't think that Illinois is going to end up being explosive enough against this Penn State defense to show me that they can compete in a shootout. I think Penn State's going to put up a whole lot of points in this game. Love what they've done with the offense. Obviously, the defense had a little bit of a lapse against Bowling Green, who, by the way, Bowling Green might be a little bit better than we thought they were after what they showed us at A&M, too. This might be a very good Bowling Green team, but obviously a story for another podcast. But I think this is the biggest test that the Illini defense has faced so far. They haven't quite gone up against an offense like this. I think you combine that with the fact that this is a night game at home for Penn State, and they got a little bit of free bulletin board material from Brett Bielema. He made the comment about, the whiteout. He was like, yeah, I don't know what they're going to be wearing. They're going to wear something, I guess. Whiteout energy. What the hell even that mean? I'm like, oh, good. Insult the Penn State fans. That's what you need to do going into this game. Thanks, bud. So gave him a little bit of bulletin board material. When we've seen that in the past, the fans show up and they get real loud. I just think it's going to be a bad night to be the Illini. They've been really impressive. I love what they've done so far this season. Huge win against Nebraska. I think the magic runs out against Penn State here. So I'm taking Penn State minus the 18. I love what they're doing. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball really effectively. I think they're going to be able to run the ball really effectively. And I think this is a big night for Penn State as they kind of continue their march through the Big Ten.
Trey, I know you've got kind of a foot in both camps here. You've defended Illinois when I was very quick to kind of write them off. Luke Altmaier, I apologize to you, sir. I guess your game against Eastern Illinois was not the full story. But you also really like what Andy Kotelnicki is doing offensively. It certainly seems like Drew Aller is a new man in this system. Which way are you leaning on what is understandably a large point spread in Happy Valley?
It is a huge point spread, and it kind of did shock me that the point spread is so wide. I do think that represents the just general talent gap in these two teams, and Penn State being at home, of course, with that crowd behind them. I'm going to lean into the points here. I'm going to take Penn State in the points. I know I've referenced last year multiple times already on the spot. I'm going to do it one more time. Andy Kotelnicki last year against Illinois got 539 yards of offense when he was at Kansas last year on the road in Urbana-Champaign. This dude is a wizard. Like everywhere he goes, he has transformed offenses into just these elite units and gotten great production out of players that we were really concerned about going into the season. So I'm excited about Penn State's ceiling. I love what Illinois is doing. I think the path for them to stay competitive in this game, get a few big pass plays in their wins this year. They've turned opposing quarterbacks over. We saw that in the Kansas game especially. So that's your path to staying competitive in this one for Illinois. Get some big pass plays with Pat Bryant and Zachary Franklin. Turn Drew Aller over a couple times, but Drew Aller really doesn't turn the ball over. Even last year when there was much maligned about his game, he wasn't throwing interceptions. He just wasn't getting big production out of the pass plays. So I think Penn State's going to take care of the football. I think they're going to get some explosive plays through the air and on the ground. And it's just going to be a little bit too much for Illinois. Still a great season in front of the Illini, I think, but Penn State gets it done. I think they cover late in this one.
The number 18 is really strange to me, and that's what's throwing me for a loop, because I have no doubt that Penn State's going to win this game. If you're just asking me to pick outright, of course I'm going to take the home team in Happy Valley. But I'm going to ride with Illinois plus 18 here. This number stinks to me, and so like you're going to lean into the points, I'm going to say 18 is a really specific number. Maybe Illinois loses by 17 here. Maybe I'm just a sucker falling for the road team here and turning, an about face on some takes about Illinois that I had earlier. They did just come off a win on the road at Nebraska, hostile environment. So I don't think that Happy Valley is necessarily going to phase them. We'll see what the fans bring in Beaver Stadium. But I've been really impressed with what Illinois has been able to do, how efficient they've been able to move the football. No, they're not putting up egregious stats. They're like 82nd in total offense in the country right now. They're not doing it with the steak and the sizzle, but they have been really effective at moving the ball. They're really good at punching it in when they get into the red zone. I believe they're one of the most efficient teams in the country at scoring touchdowns, specifically when they are inside the 20-yard line. That's how you're going to keep it close against this Penn State defense. I'm looking specifically at the passing game. I know, Trey, that you wrote that Penn State doesn't give up a ton through the air right now. If Illinois has a chance in this game, they are going to need Luke Altmaier to find some razzle-dazzle down the field. They've got Pat Bryant, they've got Zachary Franklin, two very unsung wide receivers in the country right now. I feel like everyone kind of forgot about Zachary Franklin after he transferred away from UTSA, where he's getting a lot of Group of Five headlines. Pat Bryant has been a sensation this year as well. I think that Penn State does win this and probably wins it relatively comfortably. But that number, man, it's biting me. So I'm going to ride with Illinois here, plus the points. You guys will both take Penn State.
Gracious. Yep.